Café and Networking, the podcast to connect and promote entrepreneurs and business experts. I'm Tom Reaoch, an American known as the King of Networking, connecting people and speaking from my studio in Campinas, São Paulo, Brazil. Today we're going to talk with Genesis Amaris Kemp, and she's joining us from Houston, Texas. Genesis Kemp is a motivational speaker, author of the book Chocolate Drop in Corporate America, From Pit to Palace, and podcast host of Gems with Genesis Amaris Kemp podcast. Genesis and I met on the PodMatch podcast host platform. Genesis, to showcase authenticity, is being a podcast host better than having a book?
So, being a podcaster, I would not say it's better than having a book because each one is in its own lane. And the title of my book is called Chocolate Drop in Corporate America, From the Pit to the Palace. And being a podcaster of Gems with Genesis Amaris Kemp, it allows me to showcase other people's story by me being my authentic self, showcasing diversity, equity, inclusion, as well as equality, and bridging the gap. So my book allowed me to jumpstart and launch my podcast, Gems, after being featured on numerous podcasts, which has been amazing. So I definitely don't think one is better than the other. They're both in their own lanes, in my opinion.
So we have several ways to be authentic, right? It could be
Yes.
it can be text form, it could be voice form, it could be any form.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like by having both, you're tapping into two different audiences because some people may want to hear audio, other people may want to read books. So if I just stick to being an author, then I'm not tapping into my audio audiences that are always on the go and just want to pop in some AirPods or earbuds and listen while they're working out.
Well, that seems to be the case, though. In modern times, everybody is on the move. Even
Yes.
now in the middle of the pandemic, people are more, they want to hear, they want to listen. And I think one of the oldest thing that we have is listening, is hearing.
Yes, and making sure you hear the right things because there's a difference between listening or actively listening because sometimes when you actively listen, you're actually getting the intent of the message and you're being intentional versus just allowing to hear something and let it go in one ear and out the next because you're not retaining the substance that you heard.
Well, the same thing. You're a speaker, a motivational speaker, and I think really, I'm not saying that books can't be motivational, but to see someone like yourself on a stage or in front of people, that's part of the essence, to see the person motivating. Motivation can be text, but certainly it's the form.
Absolutely. And one thing that I do with my podcast, Gems, is my pillars are to educate, inspire, and motivate. And that complements with me being a motivational speaker because I'm now giving other people the opportunity to come on my platform to share their stories because there's so much power in storytelling. There's so much power in people knowing who they are and then showcasing that to the world. So not only do I get to do it in the form of motivational speaking whenever I'm going out to speaking engagements, but I could also give somebody else the opportunity that would not have had the opportunity to come onto a platform.
And it's multi-platform, but I agree with you.
Yes.
As a speaker myself for the last 2 years, there have not been speaking engagements, face-to-face, here in Brazil anyway. So it was very difficult. I had to re-educate myself to be a virtual speaker, either on Zoom or Google Meet or other platforms. But what I did find, podcasting is a way of speaking. We're speakers.
Absolutely. And then you're always refining your craft because you never want to be stale in what you know. So you should always be willing to learn new things, challenge yourself, grow, and most importantly, pivot. And I truly feel the pandemic has really taught us all how to pivot because you definitely have to be quick thinkers and stand up on your toes because if not, you're going to get left behind, y'all.
No, we have to pivot daily. Because change comes like that. As I'm here in Brazil talking to you in Houston, and I've had my breakfast, you're about to have it, but things have already changed.
True. Yep.
And in 5 minutes, it's going to change again. So.
Yep, the world keeps on spinning, y'all, and we keep on evolving. So you got to jump on the bandwagon and do something that is authentic to you. Be uniquely you, and don't run in comparison with other people, but focus on your gifts, your talents, your vision, and look ahead. And as long as you are being authentic and true to yourself, everything is going to line up accordingly.
And I think people will line up with you as they see that you are authentic. They'll want to run with you. And I think that's part of our mutual objectives of what we do.
Yes.
And for our audience, what's the best way to find you?
You can connect with me on Facebook or Instagram at Genesis Amaris Kemp, or you can head on over to my Hello LLC briefcase, and I will give Tom all the information. So you'll have me there. It's a one click, one tap, all information in one spot. All you got to do is scroll from the bottom to the top, or from the top to the bottom, whichever floats your boat.
Or the middle, up and out. So that's the way it's going to go. Very good. So reminding everybody, you can find more information. That's Genesis Amaris Kemp. That's GENESIS AMARIS, and the last name is KEMP. And the book is on Amazon. So thanks again, Genesis, for being part.
Thank you again for having me, Tom. I truly appreciate it.
And we'll be talking again in the future, I'm sure.
Yes.
Very good. Café and Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil, and more information about them on their website, which is focusmi.com. Thanks for listening. Until the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.